Welcome to students of class 9th. In last live class, we had completed our input in Java. Today, we'll try to complete your lesson number 8, that is mathematical library functions. In last lesson, we were discussing about the packages. So if you want to import any package, then there is a format to write: import java.lang, java.util, java.awt, java.io. So these are the packages which we need to import when we want to access the class of that particular package. Since the package is a collection of classes, and classes are the collections of methods or objects, you can say. So when we want to access any one of the method of a particular class, then definitely we need to create object of that class, and with the help of that object we can call them. But some of the classes are inbuilt and they are static, having static functions. So to call them, we do not need to create object. Instead, we can call them directly using the class name. Last time, when we were discussing about input in Java using scanner class, so we had written import java.util.strict or scanner. Any one of them means all classes will be easily imported, or if you want to import only a scanner class, then also apart from writing all class asterisk, we can write scanner. So only scanner class will be imported in our program, and then we can start using, after creating object of this class, we can start accessing all the methods of a scanner class. So just like that, in this lesson, mathematical library functions, Java is very rich in the calculations, okay, very rich in operators also, very rich in the mathematical library functions. So these functions, mathematical library functions, will use, and we'll see from which package it belongs to and how we can use them. For example, if I ask you to calculate this one, a square, so it is very easy for you to calculate. But if I ask you to add to the power 55, and suppose the value of a is 5, then 55 times you need to calculate. That is not possible. It may 550 also, it may 5500 also. Understood? So in that case, it is not possible. So for this kind of calculations, Java provides you inbuilt library functions. Inbuilt library functions that can be used to do our calculations very fast and very quickly. Now, since we are talking about the mathematical library functions, so see, if I'm talking about power function. So this power function also will belong to a particular class, isn't it? This power function, sqrt function, to calculate the square. So all these functions will belong to a particular class. So either we need to create class and we need to write everything once again, or we need to access that package from which it belongs to. Since this mathematical library functions belongs to java.lang. Lang means language. This lang means language, and this is the by default package of Java language. Even though you are started writing class ABC, class demo, so that class definition also is written in this lang package. Till now, we did not write java.lang, import java.lang in our program. Still, it is working. It is working from behind. It means you can say that java.lang package is a default package which is automatically imported when you start writing a program in Java. Understood? So all the mathematical library functions belongs to java.lang package. Since it belongs to java.lang package, we do not need to import them because java.lang is automatically imported. In that case, we do not need to import them by writing import java.lang. No need to write because this package is automatically imported once you start writing any program, not only for mathematical array functions. Suppose you are writing a program to display your name or to add to numbers, then also it is automatically imported. Got it? So let us start doing this. Let us start recalling these functions one by one. The first function is power function. See, one more thing, that all the functions of math class, it means first of all that lang was a package and all the functions of math class means math is a class which belongs to lang package. Math is a class which belongs to lang package. Since we do not import lang package, then also math class can be used frequently. Now, since math is a class, this will have many methods, isn't it? Many objects. Like first method, we can talk about power, then sqrt, then minimum, then maximum. There are many methods which belongs to math class. Okay, and all these methods are static methods. All these methods are static methods, and I believe you are aware how to call a static method, how the static methods are called. The static methods are called by using class name. And what is the class name? From which it belongs to math class. So whenever we use these these functions, so we need to use math.class name. Math is a class and static functions are called by using the class name. So math.power, math.sqrt, math.minimum, math.max, and all the methods can be called using class name dot method name, and they can be easily called. So let us see the first method of math class, which is power. For example, power function, we talk about power function. See, this power function contains two parameters. For example, statement A and statement B. It works like a to the power b. And the return type of this function is double. It returns the value in double type. Okay, because this function is calculating something. It is calculating power. The first value raised to the second value will be raised to the first A. So this will calculate a value, and this value must be returned. Okay, so this will be returned in form of double type. So how do we? Let us see. One value I am taking, for example, int. I am taking int A equals to 5 and B equals to 2. So I can write a statement to calculate the power double CALC equals to math.power. I need to call math.power, and I will pass here, either I can pass that value or I can pass A comma B. So it will calculate like this. A is 5, so 5 power 2. And it will return the value in form of double only. It will return the value in form of double only. So this is how we calculate. So 5 into 5 you can calculate, and it will store in series. So this is how we will write. This is the basic part. This is the measure part, and it can hold only two parameters. Very important. This power function can hold only two parameters. Even if you are passing only one parameter, it will not work. There is a particular definition for each and every method, and accordingly we need to pass the values. So here two parameters we need to pass to calculate the power. Then next method we go for SQRT. SQRT function, square root. This function also will returns a double type value, square root. For example, if you want to calculate the same way, you can write here one variable int n equals to 81 is there, and then the next one is and the next one is int n equals to 81. Then we have what we write. This also returns double type, so write double. For example, d equals to math dot sqrt. That value can be passed or that variable can be passed. So I passed a variable and return the answer. 9. So returns the square root of that particular number. Now the next one is CBRT. That also returns double type. For example, we can take int n equals to 64. Then we can write here double equals to math dot CBRT, then we can pass it and it will return the cube root of that number, that would be 4. So this is how it is calculated. Got it? So whenever we, keep in mind that whenever we call a function of math class, since all these functions of math class are static functions, so whenever you call them, we need to write class name dot method name and parameter will be passed accordingly. According to the method definition, the parameter will be passed and this function will calculate. Now you can assume that if you are calculating this cube root directly from our side, so it will take too much time, isn't it? It will take too much. Like power, I asked you one example of power, for example, 5 to the power 550. So it will take lots of time, isn't it? It will consume time. But while using only a power function, within one line, we can calculate this power. So our work became easy because of these functions. So that's why these functions are given in the library, okay, in Java library, so that we can very easily access them and we can use them according to our requirements. Got it? The next function is seal. Seal, yes. Seal function. So this seal function also belongs to math class as usual, and it also returns double type. Now let me tell you seal and float together. Seal and float together. It also returns double type. Seal means a value will be rounded on. Seal means ceiling. Suppose the value is given 1.2. In case of seal, so it will become 2. It will become 2. Seal means ceiling, up, round up, and floor means round down. For example, if it is given 1.2, so it will become 1. So this is the use of seal. Seal means the value will go to the nearest round up, and floor means the value will go to the nearest down. Okay, nearest down means, for example, if it is given 1 to the whole number, what will go? It will not go. Suppose it is given 1.9 and I am using floor, then it will become floor means floor. Direct it will come to the floor, and seal means up. So this is how it is working. Understood? So we can write these statements. Identity or use double b equals to 2.8, and you can write here, since it returns double type, so I need to write double c equals to math dot seal b in class. One more statement I can write for flow, double f equals to math dot flow d. Now you see the answer here. The answer will be 2.5. C means it will go up, then 2.8 will become 3.0. It will become 3.0, and floor means the 2.8 will become 2.0. Just keep in mind, seal means it will go up and floor means it will go down. So this is how it will work. Then the next one is round. Now we have round. See, based on the input, the value will be returned from the round. Round means it will go to the nearest down or nearest top. It means it will go to the nearest whole number. The value will be go to the nearest whole number. For example, if you are entering the value in double type, suppose I am entering the value double type, so return type will be long. And if I am entering the value in form of float, then return type will be int. So this is the case. Let us see. I am writing a double b equals to 2.8, and I am writing here again. So see, double 2.8 was, so in which what it will be? Long type. So I need to take long. For example, b equals to math dot round b. So round up, it will go round up and round down, both does. So depends upon the value, whether it is less than 0.5 or above more than 0.5. So based on this value, it will go up and it will go down. So d 2.5, 2.8 will become 3. And if it is float, then it will store in form of integer. And it equals to again math dot round b. So keep in mind, when the value type is double, then the return type will be long, and when the value type will be float, the return type will be int in case of a round. Now the next one is ABS, absolute value. ABS function of math class returns the absolute value of entered data. Okay, absolute value means it actually gives the exact value, but it removes the sign from the value. For example, if it is given here double b equals to minus 2.5. minus 2.5. Right here again, since it's double type, you write here double AB equals to math dot ABS and enter and pass here D. So it will actually remove this sign, plus or minus both. So the answer will be only 2.5. So absolute value of math class removes the sign from the value, plus or minus. Even if it is given plus, then that plus also will be removed. Exact value will be returned by ABS function. Then the next one is next function is max function. Yes, max. And same time I can tell you about minimum also. Max and minimum both. Maximum means it returns the greatest among two values at once. It returns the greatest among two values. For example, if you are passing here 5 and 10, so it will return 10 when we use max. So the highest value among two will be returned. And see, the return type for max may be integer, float, double, okay, all types. It may have integer also, it may return integer also, it may return double also, it may return float also, long also. Based on your value, the return type will be there. For the same time, mean value or minimum you can say, it returns the smallest among two values. It returns the smallest among two values. Let us see the example. First of all, for the first one, right here, id a equals to 5 and b equals to 20. We want to find out the greatest among two, a and b. So what do we need to write? Since they are integer type, so I need to write here id. You can write here max equals to math dot max a comma b. And one more very important thing, I have seen every year that you do mistake. You cannot pass more than two parameters to this max function, because in definition it is given that only two parameters at once can be passed. So if you are trying to access the greatest among 3 or 4, then you need to use multiple times, or you need to use nested max function, or you can use multiple max time also. Multiple times max function can be used to calculate the greatest among 3 or 4 variables. But here in one statement we can pass only two parameters for both of them, for maximum also and for minimum also. Okay, so here the answer will be max AB, answer will be 10. Sorry, 20 is. B is 20. So it becomes the maximum among two values. Now, if at the same time, if you want to calculate the minimum and smallest among two, then we can write math dot minimum a comma b, it will return 5. Smallest among two. Here also we can pass only two at once, not more than. Clear? So this is your maximum and minimum function. Now the last method is a random function of math class. Random function of math class. Random function. Let us understand, and this see, random function also returns double type. It also returns double type. See, in random function calculates the value in form of from 0.02, from it just creates the random values from 0.02 less than 1.0. times you will use the random function, you will get the different value in the range of 0.0 to 1.0. For example, if I'm just using here double b equals to math dot random. This function doesn't contain any parameter. So this function d, it may provide you 0.0112, something like that. Next time again we calculate, it will provide you 0.123, something like that. So all the time, whenever you will execute this random function, it returns the different number or random, you can say. We cannot make sure until we are calculating it. Okay, whenever I use kind of random function, it will provide you a random number always. And first, it will not provide you the exact value again and again. It will calculate the random numbers and then it will return. So these many methods you had in your book, in your syllabus that we have completed. Do one thing, just write all the math functions in your copy with one example of each. Okay, and in next class we'll go ahead to the next topic. Okay, so next class we'll go ahead to the next topic. Thank you very much for being with me. All the best.